Hello, welcome to Becky's House of Sewing. I'm Becky, and welcome back or welcome to my house of sewing. Currently, just in the room of sewing, in the house of sewing. But I strategically angled my camera so you can see my halo quilt in all its glory. Yay! Ah! Do you hear the angels singing? So, if you're new here, I talk about all things thread and needle, have a passion for quilting and cross-stitching mostly, but you never know. If there's tools to buy, I probably want to do it. I probably do. That's why I have a Cricut. It's a cold, rainy day here in Waxhaw, North Carolina. I'm back from visiting with some stitchy friends at a coffee shop. It was close to Stash Charlotte, and so they've never been, and they're kind of quilt curious, as it were. I don't know why they're hesitant. If they want to do it, they should just jump right in, right? I mean, if you want to do a hobby, if you're curious about something, by golly, just do it. Here is your sign to be enabled. Go forth and quilt. Or stitch. Or whatever it is that you're curious about. Yeah. So I'm having a little hot tea because I like drinking hot teas in the winter and keep yourself liquefied, as it were. I'm having a little Bigelow Earl Grey, just kind of keeping it simple. A little caffeine, but not too much. It is in the late afternoon. Don't need to stay up too late. Like last night, stayed up till about 1:30 stitching. Couldn't help myself. I was addicted. What can I say? Do you ever feel that way when you're doing a project? You're like, oh, I probably should stop, but what would this one more thread look like? What if I did this one little section over here? It's kind of like when you're cleaning, when company comes over and you're looking around, you're like, how long has that cobweb been up there in the corner? And then you start cleaning something or you moving furniture around, and then one thing leads to the next. And then it was 1:30 in the morning. What are you gonna do? Well, so today I just wanted to kind of share what I was up to. My heart is kind of full because I just got to spend some time with another Sunday afternoon with some stitchy friends, and that's the best. If you're in the state of North Carolina or very close to North Carolina and South Carolina, I do recommend on Facebook, there's lots of stitching groups. But the Tar Heels stitching group just has formulated in the, I guess, last month or two. And it's very active. They have great prompts to get us all chatting and showing each other our stuff. And then there's also a lot of shout outs of people meeting up and looking for stitchy friends. So if you need a stitching buddy and you're in the Tar Heel state of North Carolina, I highly recommend it. It's fun. It's a good community. Of course, you can always get connected on Instagram. I'm on Instagram under Becky's House of Sewing, and I try to post at least what I've stitched every day. And that's a great place to also get connected if you're into commenting. But I kind of treat Instagram like a magazine. So I kind of scroll through it just to see the pretty pictures. More so, I mean, I've connected more so in recent history, but you know, that's what I tend to use it for. I was setting up to a video and I kept just like sitting in front of my camera, looking at the screen, looking at my halo quilt. Isn't it pretty? So I took this class in September, end of September, with my neighbor Ron. Hey Ron. Hey Connie. And it's very laborious, but it's really pretty. And it is fun to stitch, but it takes a long time for each little block. I think each block is about 8.5 inches unfinished. So it'll be gorgeous when it gets done. And I do need to get it done because it's making my craft room very messy. So I need to, because it is fussy cut and it's got a lot of pieces in each portion, I've got stuff everywhere. And I'm in a spare bedroom in my home, but it's not very big. When you start getting an ironing board, a cutting board, a sewing machine set up, and then shelving to accommodate all the stash that I have. Yeah, it's a lot. It's not a lot of moving room around here. What's funny is I came in here today, I've lost a pair of shoes in my sewing room. And I could only see one of them. I knew the other one was somewhere around. I had kicked my shoes off at one point sewing. And they're my favorite, like, non-working tennies. So I was determined to find them today to go out to meet up with my stitching buddies. I successfully found them without too much work. But I just thought it was funny. The things I lose under hordes of fabric. So while we're talking about this, let me adjust my seat here. So last time I had talked to you guys, I was kind of lamenting that I hadn't gotten much further on my quilt. So something struck and I was able to knock out more. And it's partly due to these guys here, part of me leaning out of the frame. So this is a stack of tablecloths that I cut up. You know, you can go to the dollar store. You just need one that has a felt backing. I got this at the Dollar General and cut it up into, I guess, 15-inch squares, 14 and a half or something. And that lets me lay things out so I can get things ready to sew. Let me put this down here. It's also a helpful reminder if you see on this one where I have it labeled 2 and the arrows in. Sorry, my awkward little hand. See if you can see it. In the screen, Becky, in the screen. Anyway. Oh, there are things falling now. Okay. So we have a set that says 1 and a set that says 2. And that's to help me remember how to iron the circle parts so that the seams nest. So on one set I sew the seams in, iron the seams in, the other set I iron out. And it's supposed to help me when I sew the blocks together, sew them a little, so they line up a little bit easier. This is what else I wanted to show you. I have these guys kind of cut out and prepped, and I have a set for my pies, and then I have a set for my little triangles and the whatever the shape is. I don't know what you would call that shape. So that's kind of the things I have pre-cut, ready to set up. And then when I got all of these completed, I took a moment and whipped up, I think I have 10 of these sheets of the tablecloth cut up. So now I can kind of chain piece them together and get them to a point where I can kind of knock more out. This quilt is set up 6 rows of 6. So I'm just about halfway done if you don't count the borders. There's a way to finish the borders so that the ones on the edge, these guys here, they get like a quarter circle so it finishes off and kind of creates a border. I think. I remembered. I have this to show you. So you can see here, this is the border row. So I'm waiting to do those last. Make sure I don't have a good reason why, but I think I want to see how the center turns out to make sure I know what I want this edge to look like before I bind it. And I don't think I'll do another border other than that. But look how cool that is. I'll get it done. It's in the works. And then I wonder, you know, once you get the quilt top done, then you have to pick out the back. Oh, the decisions. Woe is my life, full of fun things to think about. I can't wait to get it done. Very much looking forward to having it hang in the Charlotte Quilters Guild quilt show in April 2024. Come and join us. More to come, I'm sure. So this morning, went to meet up with some stitchy friends, and we were very close to Park Road Shopping Center, and as I had mentioned previously, my friends are quilt curious, which I can only encourage them to jump right in. And we're very close to Park Road Shopping Center, which is where Stash of Stash Charlotte is, which is an adorable little boutique store that focuses on knitting and sewing machines and fabric, and has just enough spattering of the occasional embroidery kit, cross-stitch kit, just the right amount of supplies. That's where I got my Moda basic, Moda Bella Solids. That's what I was trying to look for. The words for my class with Verushka that I talked about the last time. So that was very fun. Introduced them, they had never been. Lucy, the owner, was there. I really like Lucy. She's a great person, very generous, and enjoy talking to her and talking machines. I love tea. I love it. So of course I got some haul. You want to see it now? Sure, why not? So it started with this fabric. Look how cute this is. Look how cute that is. Look, there's my little Mia down there. So cute. I got that fabric, and then I saw this fabric. So this is basically a photograph of some crewel work. Crewel is a type of embroidery run. I don't do crewel work, but that's kind of what it looks like. If you have ever seen it before, you've probably seen it before. But I thought this green is something I could use in my quilt. I don't have, all my greens are a little muted, so I thought I needed a nice pop. So I got that one. Then I saw this one, and I can't help myself. Look how pretty. It's very loud, isn't it? That's going in the quilt too somewhere. I saw this pretty orange. I really liked it. May find that in the quilt, may not. Maybe that'll be my binding. And then I wanted to make sure you can always use what do we call it? Wires. Wire word's hard sometimes. I wanted to get a solid-ish. What do we call this? Well, first of all, it's dog bones. white on white, white on cream. That's adorable. And we call, what did they say? This is, I'll think of it in a minute and I'll just shout it out. I'm sure you guys are already yelling at me. And then I got this fabric too. Isn't that neat? That'll make a good project bag somewhere, won't it? So those are all the fabrics I bought. My friends didn't buy anything. Rude, right? But 2 of them live nearby, so they were pointing out Christmas gifts to each other, so I have no doubt. And then my other friend was making plans for when her daughter comes to visit to go to that shop. So it was fun. I feel like that word is just going to come to my tip of my tongue. It's going to bother me. I'll shout it out whenever I remember. But, so that's kind of all my quilting and my haul. I didn't get any cross-stitch haul in the last couple weeks. Aren't I good? Although I will say I am looking forward to when I'm inspired again to do another start or get another project going or kit it up. I do want to get a pattern from the Artsy Housewife. Her stuff is just so cool. So I'm looking forward to planning that. But on to what I have. I have 3 projects to share with you. One I talked about last time. It's my work stitch. I have a cross stitch, almost like an emergency stitching situation. Sometimes at work, it's just nice to have when I'm eating lunch because I have an hour break. Yeah, eat a little, stitch a little. So, sorry, let me bend over and get that project that's in this cute little bag with the cute little bling bling. Yes, I made it. I got this at Stash too. They have fun little labels. So it's a little tiny bag because I have a big work bag that's pretty heavy. I didn't want to go too crazy. And let me show you. I use GoodNotes. So let me get this image up so I can show it to you. And I forget the name of this chart, and for some reason I can't seem to oh, here it is. It's just a Quaker, and I don't remember what this is. It's a few years old, and that's what it's gonna look like. Just 4 little colors. It's really pretty. I like a good Quaker. And this is where I'm at with it. Let's see if I can put it on here. Complete with threaded needle, ready to go at a moment's notice when you have a stitching emergency at work. So, not too shabby. This is 40 count platinum that I had in my stash, and I'm using the called for DMCs. And if you are interested in, oh, here. I have the chart in the bag. It is called Square Quaker by Marjorie Massey. There you go. So sometimes I stitch in hand, sometimes I stitch with a hoop. I've used all things. I've used scroll bars before. I really like the roller frame. And I do have the Q-snaps, which are plastic kind of reconfigurable frames that you snap the fabric around. I find the Q-snaps a little hard to hold. though they're lightweight, I feel like they're thicker. And my preferred frame actually is in this guy. So I got these hoops at hoopandframe.com. They're this brand. And I like the thicker frame because I find that also easier to hold in my hand without kind of putting my thumb through the fabric like this. I have a nice resting place like so. And I often hold it like that. Sometimes I use a pillow, sometimes I don't. Just depends. On my peacock, unicorn, badger, which I'll show you in just a few minutes, I find that when I'm doing the background, I prefer to stitch in hand, which means no hoop, you're just holding the fabric and you're using a sewing method mostly, and that's delightful to use. But for motifs, or if I have to get to a funky space, I prefer the tension of a hoop. So let me put that out. This, well, let me show you a peacock, a badger, a unicorn, and a badger first, because that leads to the next thing I worked on. So get the picture out. It's in here somewhere. Ha 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 ha. I cut open my booklet. That is a peacock, a unicorn, a badger, based off a tapestry from the 1700s, as I recall. I forget when the date was exactly. And this has been my one true love and passion. It has been very therapeutic. It's lovely to stitch. I outline and fill in. It's got nice chunks of color. And it's fun to watch it grow. There's been several people who have recently completed it, several people that have stitched it, that are stitching along with me. Carolyn from Curious Crafters is one of them, my new bestie. And that's been fun to stitch together and see each other's progress. I'm doing mine in the DMCs. The silks are beautiful, so if you are open to stitching with silks, I would highly recommend it. The colors are beautiful. But here, so a couple fun things. I got a page complete, so I've gotten all the way over to the side. I stitched right to left, and all the motifs are done on the final page in this corner, which allowed me to cut my fabric. And oh my goodness, I cut like 10 inches off, because you need such a big piece. It's like too large for the next size down. It's like 18 inches wide. Let's see. I'm at my cutting table. Sorry if I'm moving the table a little bit. Here, so my fabric is like 22 inches wide, and I think the actual design is about 18 inches wide on 40 count, which means there's 20 stitches to an inch, Ron. So do that math. So the other victory that I had with this, not only was I able to cut my fabric off, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much easier to handle now. You can see how long the fabric is still, so that'll be exciting when I get to the bottom and I can cut off the bottom, but that's no bother with me. So the other exciting part is once I got the page finished, before I started down, I wanted to work over some more green, and that before you is one whole skein of floss in green. Isn't that exciting? Ooh. So I hear Ron in the background now. Connie, don't worry, I'm about to answer it. What is a skein of floss? So that's how it comes from the store, Ron. They sell it in a skein. This is a skein of DMC. Now, each company measures it a little differently. I don't off the top of my head, and I talked about this afternoon. I should have looked it up because it would have been good to talk about on Flosstube. But I don't know the exact amount of thread is in a skein of DMC floss. But there you have it. Some companies do more, which makes the skein a little more expensive. But voila. So I got that done in my bag, in my cute little bag. Ooh. Turn the bag jewelry over. My little rotary cutter. So I took a victory lap. I set it aside. I figured, what better time to take a pause when you've had a couple victories, right? So I picked up my Carolyn Manning design, which I bought. I really like her designs, and I was excited to buy a couple of them, and I had started a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I started this design, and it's quite addictive. So I purposely didn't do too much because I could easily see myself putting a peacock, a unicorn, a badger down. But with the victory of finishing a whole skein, I decided to reward myself. So here you go. It's what I worked on last night. This is on Newcastle Blush 40 count linen I got from 123 Stitch, and I'm using the called for DMCs. And there's a lot of ghosting stitches in here because it is full coverage, but it's much smaller than a peacock, a unicorn, a badger. It is like 127 by 127. These are my pretty flosses on my floss drops. Isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty. And I have them in this cute little bag that I made. A little random size. So that was fun. And that's kind of what I've been stitching on. And what I've bought. I think later tonight when I get home, I think I'm going to sew on my sewing machine. Do some more. Now that I've got about 9 of these blocks kind of pulled together. And I might also do a little cutting of my new fabrics and see if I can integrate any in there. Dribble, dribble. My mouse stopped working. Sorry. Can't take me anywhere. No. But that's kind of all I've been up to. Other than doing the normal Wednesday Stitchers meetup. Of course, this week was a little different because I drove up to see my mom on Wednesday. Got to visit with her and mom and dad and cousin Adrian, so that was fun. And then on Thursday was Thanksgiving, and we cooked some things, very minimal things. We did not have the full hog by any means, but we thought it would be better to eat at the apartment this year than go down to my mother-in-law's restaurant where she lives. So we heated up a turkey, and I made mashed potatoes and took those over for Thanksgiving and had a lovely day. I was expecting it to be a little more hectic and lovely. Thankfully, it was not. I was able, because we didn't go over till about 2 o'clock. It was nice to watch the parade and stitch and, you know, have a leisurely morning, which was lovely. So, my plans are work more on this, stitch more on those, and carry on for another couple weeks. We're hot and heavy in the holiday season now. It's, working at a mall at the Container Store. Even though my job is drastically different than it has been, it is not, thankfully, I don't have the same stressors or constant rush of holiday shoppers and the stress of their stress. But it's still a busy time, trying to find parking spots, all the things. So for those of you who are shopping that don't work retail, be kind to retailers. We are really doing our best, even if it doesn't feel like it. But yeah, stay safe, be patient, have extra cheer and kindness come forth as you are doing your holiday shopping or going anywhere, grocery shopping, all that kind of stuff. It is a stressful time of year, and it's dark and it's cold, but we're baby step into the 21st of December, which is the winter solstice, where it only gets lighter from here, people. But until then, I hope you guys get some great stitching time in. Do what you love. Rest, relax, be kind to each other. I'll see you next time. Bye.